Hey everyone, happy Friday. Today was actually a pretty good day nonetheless. Bitcoin was up, miners were up as well quite nicely today. So today was actually a really good day. So again, happy Friday to us all. Not much as far as news in the miners concerned. Really no public releases on anything, so not much to talk about there. We do have some good things to talk about, possibly Bitcoin there. We'll also take a look at my portfolio, which we haven't talked about in probably maybe a year, I think, since the last we talked about it. I'll give you guys pretty much the details of what I'm invested in right now, the percentage of that, of what's in each one of my overall portfolio, when I got into it and all that stuff, whether it was a good decision that I made or not. We'll go over all that, and then we'll get into Q&A here. So it should be kind of fun, short and sweet, baby. But thank you again for coming in here as always. Greatly appreciate all of you. And as always, not financial advice, for only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out as always. And there's a lot of always going on here. But let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin here right now. Bitcoin right now had a pretty good day. It was up much higher than where it actually ended up here. So Bitcoin today just finished out slightly in the positive, 0.01%. Definitely some shenanigans going on in that space for Bitcoin here. If we look at the 1 hour chart, you can see we had, we peaked here right around, what was it, 11 o'clock my time at least. So that would have been 10 o'clock Eastern time. And then things were going down afterwards, right after that, right around noon. Excuse me, they were going down at that point, and we kind of stayed flat here and kind of bounced back up here towards the end of the day. Okay, we've seen that play out before. Not a big deal here. Bitcoin is battling with the 50-day simple moving average, which is the red line right there. We touched it once, twice, third time today. We went actually above it quite nicely, and then we actually fell below it. Now we're just below it a little bit as well for the new day for Saturday here. We're up 0.3%, nothing major here. Markets, however, were kind of mixed today. Dow Jones was down a little bit. NASDAQ was up a little bit as well. S&P was up a little bit. The Russell was down quite a bit, 1.85% on that one. But they were all pretty much in the green at one point of the day, and then they came back down here towards the end, unfortunately. If we take a look at Ethereum here, Ethereum also had the kind of same thing happen to it as Bitcoin. It was only up a little bit. At the end of the day, it was up 0.12% there. Miners, however, oh my gosh, those guys had a great day today. Even with Bitcoin, kind of being flat overall, Bitfarms was up nicely at 3.01% on the day. It was much higher. It is also battling with the 50 SMA on that one. BitDeer here was up 3.49%. That one is sitting and battling with the 200 SMA. It looks like this green line right there. It fell below it, went above it, came back down, went back up here and closed above it, which is nice. Kango was actually down today, 0.72. This is the only miner that was down. And that one's battling with the 50 SMA here as well on that one. You can see that. Cypher here was up 1.04%. This thing had a wild day also today. Huge swings in this one as well. We were down quite a bit here in the morning hours, came back up much higher in the early, I would say late morning hours, and then we came back down here, but it was still up 1% there. Cleanspark, similar situation there. This one was battling with the 100 SMA. Went above it, came back below it, but it was up 3.94% to end the day, so that was pretty good there. At one point, I think it was like 8-9% at one point. So it had a good day there. CORZ was up 3.93%, similar situation on that one. Hive was up 4.89%. This one has been kind of hugging the 50 SMA line here, battling with that, bounced off of the 200 SMA line there as well. HUT8 was up 5.62%. IREN had a great day today, it was up like 11% at one point. It finished out the day at 8.46%, so that's looking good there. Mara was up 2.04%. Still getting rejected from the 50 SMA, it looks like here. We did it once here, twice, 3 times here as well. It's getting rejected on that one. Kind of interesting to see how that's going to play out there. Eventually, I think it will break above that, but Riot was up a little bit, 1.17%. Also had a wild day on that one. Wolf was up nicely, 9.54% there. Bounced off of the 100 SMA, blew past the 50 SMA as well, finally closed above it. So that was nice to see there. The Bitcoin treasury companies here, kind of mixed in these guys here. MicroStrategy was up 1.32%. Galaxy was up 2.6%. Block was up 2.71%. Coin was down 2.77% there. This one's getting to new lows here since, gosh, it's been a while since it's been this low. Let's see here, when's the last time? Well, we filled a gap here, it looks like, on that one. That's going back to May of 2025. We had a gap here. Looks like this one might have been filled here. Maybe. We're getting close to it. So maybe tomorrow we'll fill that gap on that one. And maybe at that point you can start going back up here. Next here is Metaplanet. Metaplanet was up a little bit here, 0.39%. Exodus was down 4.83%. Next on here was up 3.44. Phoenix was down 0.93. Game was down also 0.65. Small miners in the green for the most part. Any was up just a little bit, 0.32%. Argo, 1.16%. DigiPower up 3.34%. DMG was up 0.8%. And Mawson had actually a really good day today. It was up 12.11%. Maybe it has something to do with that company. I'm drawing a blank on the company name right now that's trying to change the board and management there. Maybe that played into it here. Maybe some people are getting a little bit more positive on the potential that some changes will be happening for the good of the company here. We talked about it obviously in detail yesterday as well. And if they can do any of those changes, I think it would be great for the company there and for the shareholders as well. Canon was down 1.33%. Bitcoin miner ETFs had a good day. BitQ was up 2.5%. BKCH was up 3.14%. DAP was up 2.8%. And WGMI was up 4.71% there. Ethereum holding companies mixed here on the day. BMNR was down 0.35%. Bit Digital was flat. BTCS was up 0.75%. Game was up 1.78%. And the other companies that we track here as well, American Bitcoin was down another 1.92%. This one is still, it's kind of been flat here the last, what has it been, going back to December, the beginning of December here. After it crashed here, it's been kind of flat, more or less range bound here, it seems like. Not sure where it should be still valued at. If we look at the financials here, what's the current market cap? Market cap is still pretty high, 1.42 billion for a company that owns obviously some Bitcoin on their treasury and also being asset light. I think that one might still come down a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to end up at, but I think it might come down some more here. If we look at, that's the daily chart. RSI is getting kind of low on the 30s. 4-hour chart right around underneath the 30s as well. And the 1-hour chart here. Yeah, I think we might come down a little bit more on that one before everything is said and done here, just to get maybe valued a little bit better. I know that they, what do they have now, like 5,000 Bitcoin or something like that. So that's valued at roughly, what is that roughly at? 450 million, 500 million, something like that. So I think right around maybe between that and $1 billion valuation, somewhere between there, I think would be kind of fair for them at that point. So I think they might still be able to come down a little bit more. Wi-Fi here was up 2.13%. Open was down quite a bit, 6.39%. Oracle was down 0.5%, a little bit more than 0.5%. Nibius was down 2.43. Soluna was up a little bit, 0.38. Bakkt was down 1.93. Fermi was up 6.52%. This one has also been kind of range bound here as well. Meta was up 1.72%, kind of bouncing back up here. Google was down 0.73%. Amazon was up 2.06%. Microsoft was up nicely, 3.28%. NVIDIA was up 1.53%, and then EOS was down 6.09%, and New AI down quite a bit here today, down 9.49%. There's obviously a lot of talk on X on that one. You got a bunch of bulls and bears discussing that one going forward. Kind of interesting to watch that one play out and see who actually wins that bet there. Other than that, we're not going to take a look at the miners to see where they are after hours. We'll take a look at that on Sunday's show as always, because right now it's the weekend heading into tomorrow, so we'll see where things go at that point. And what else do we want to take a look at? Bitcoin, we'll see where Bitcoin's at right now for January. We're up 2.14%. Kind of lackluster right now as it is. We have, what do we have left? About a week left to go in Bitcoin for the month of January. We'll see if we can squeak out a green month. Right now, it's a toss-up whether or not we're in the green by the end of the month or in the red by the end of the month, as it is. Bitcoin ETF inflows here, if we take a look at that really quick as well for today. We had obviously outflows yesterday with BlackRock selling at 22 million, so that's definitely much lower than where we were just on, was that Wednesday. We had 708 million being sold off, so that's much better there. So it looks like maybe things are starting to turn around for Bitcoin here going forward. Some good news stories that we do have here. This is from Altcoin Daily here. Bullish, the Bitcoin white paper is now displayed on the wall of the New York Stock Exchange. That is actually pretty bullish, right? That is being presented, being displayed on the wall prominently in the New York Stock Exchange. That is a big leap forward, I think, as far as adoption is concerned. I mean, it's been quite a few years, right, where Bitcoin has been, from the start, from infancy to where it is right now. It's been over 10 years, but man, it's nice to see that this is getting, obviously, a lot of love from institutions and exchanges as well. And it's being more and more recognized for what it is, I think. So that's great news there. This here next, Breaking Bitcoin has its worst outflows since July 2024. March, May, August, November all bottomed when this exact signal hit. be greedy when others are fearful. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So if we look at the chart here on this one, you can see we're right there on the red side of things here. Last times we were down quite a bit. We had nice little rips here in price. We saw that back in, looks like somewhere between July and January of 2024, or July and December of 2024. We had a nice rip there. Prior to that, we had a nice rip up on Bitcoin price as well, somewhere between July and December of 2023. Nice run up on Bitcoin as well at that point. And right now we might be setting up for another nice little rip up here, right? Whether we get to 150,000, 180,000 is anybody's question or anybody's guess, I guess. But it looks like we're setting up for another run here potentially. So that's a good sign there. Okay. Last but not least here, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong stated the following. I met with one of the top 10 global banks in the world yesterday, and the CEO told me, crypto is my #1 priority. We view that this is existential. We're all in. So banks are coming into Bitcoin as well, which obviously we've been talking for quite a while that's going to be happening here, and it is happening more and more as time progresses. There was another one, another tweet. I probably should have posted that as well or put this up here. But another bank, $6 trillion in management bank, is obviously going into Bitcoin as well. Those are all great news there. So regardless of what Bitcoin price is doing right now, obviously you guys are probably seeing gold going up like crazy, silver is going up like crazy. Eventually we're going to get a rotation out of that. When that's going to happen, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be obviously this year still. Then we'll see a rotation happening into that. The White House is all in on Bitcoin as well and crypto. There's a lot of good things happening in the space. The price action in Bitcoin, however, does not reflect all those good things. And I think eventually we will spring back up. It's just a matter of time, not when, but a matter of when, not if, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, that's just my thoughts on it. It could be wrong, as always. So you guys have to do your own due diligence and do your own research. Now, we haven't done this in a long time. I haven't gone over my numbers as far as what I own, how much I own of that in my portfolio and everything else. So I thought this would be it's kind of a light day as far as news is concerned. It's been a light week overall. So we're getting close to getting some financial results from these companies here. But in the meantime, until we get some good news, I figured we might as well clean house a little bit and go over this because we haven't gone over this in a while here. So as you guys are probably well aware, I have Bitfarms, Cypher, Cleanspark, and IREN. So those are in my investment account, right? That's kind of for the stocks. Then I also own Bitcoin, Doge. I also own Sia Coin, but that's like a couple $100 there, so I didn't even include it in here. I probably could have taken out Hedera, Hashgraph, and Ethereum's a couple thousand, so probably could have left that in there. But Hedera, Hashgraph probably could have taken that out as well because it's just such a small percentage of my overall allocation into my entire portfolio. But just wanted to point that out for you guys so you guys know that I still do have some Sia Coin as well in there, but it's just such a small percentage of it. All right, so as far as the allocation is concerned, so this is the current valuation of these guys as of this morning, I believe it is, when I ran the numbers here. So this is their percent allocation of my total portfolio, which includes crypto and stocks as well. So if you add this up, we should be close to like 99 something like that percent at this point. Bitfarms represents 3.23%. My gains on it from when I got into it represent about 70% right now. At one point during the past year, back when Bitfarms was like at $6, that represented about, it was almost 200 to like 300% at one point. And I got into Bitfarms back in 2022, as you guys might be aware, right after we pretty much bottomed out in, well, now this was before we bottomed out in the end of 2022. I got into it kind of in the beginning months of 2022. Started buying that one and along with Cleanspark here. I didn't know where the bottom was going to be, so I started buying into those with the intention of buying the dips if they do happen to dollar cost average down into it. So my entry price on Bitfarms is very, very good. It's low. Obviously, I'm still up 68.93. If you want to do the math, you can probably figure out where I'm at on it as far as price is concerned for my average on it. So I got into that one in 2022. Cypher, I got into that one back in 2025, which was last year, obviously. But that one represents 8.37% of my allocation in my portfolio. The gains on that one have been really good also. They were higher at one point, but right now they're at 217%. And I got into that one by selling some Cleanspark shares and IREN shares as well, because I saw the potential for them with the growth they were having at the end of this year, and obviously going more heavily into AI as well. And that has worked out pretty well. Next here, Cleanspark. Cleanspark was one of those that I was following in 2021 when they transitioned from a microgrid company for electricity into a Bitcoin miner. This was it 2020? I think they started mining in December. I think, yeah. And then they got into it in 2021, where they really started to grow like crazy. So I was watching them all of 2021, and then finally saw the growth that they were having and what they were announcing as far as where they're going into the next year as well. And that's at that point that I decided to go into them, following them, tracking them, obviously their metrics and things like that. Their uptimes were great. Their operations were great. So that's why I started getting into that one in 2022 as well, early. And dollar cost average down into that one. That one I started getting in like at $9 a share, I think it was. And then went all the way down to as, what was it, a low of close to $2, I think, or something like that, wherever the bottomed out at. But I just continued dollar cost average into that one over the years following that, right? So 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, all of those pretty much years I've dollar cost averaged into that one. IREN is the next one here. IREN represents 48.91% there. It's now had gains of 601% from where I got into it. So obviously this one out of the stocks has been one of the best performers that I've gotten into. And that one I was also watching ever since 2021 also. I didn't get into it in 2021. Main reason for that one was, or at least I didn't get into it in 2022. I was watching it in 2022, but the reason I didn't get into it was they were a little bit slower to grow in 2022. And then they also ran into, I wouldn't say trouble or anything like that, but they had these special purpose vehicles for their ASICs that they purchased, which represented, I think it was like 3.5 exahash at that time. At that time, that was a lot. And that happened right around, I think it was October, November timeframe of 2022. So I held off on that one for a while to see how they actually bounce back from then and how they grow going forward. And I just kept an eye on them, right? Keep track of them, how their operations were, things like that. And definitely the team there, when was it, back in 2024, I think it was, when they started announcing that they're growing to 20 or 10 exahash and 20 exahash. Then I think they said that like 30 and then 50 exahash. I was like, okay, time to start getting into these guys. So I started buying into them in 2024. And at that point, I sold a little bit of my Cleanspark shares, which were nicely in the green. So I sold those partially and transferred that over to IREN at that time, right? So that's actually worked out really well for me since then. Other than that, so I'm really happy with the performance so far of these guys here, considering that I got into some of these guys pretty early, 2022 and 2024, 2025, and have seen really, really good gains. I'm expecting these gains to improve over time here this next year. And at that point, I think I can see, some of these guys going up at least 2x. Some of them might be even at 3 to 4x as well, potential here. So the gains will be there. It's just patience, right? Which is one of those things that I preach all the time, is to be patient, to know what you own. So you always have to do your due diligence on any of this stuff. As always, this is not financial advice here. Now, crypto. I got into crypto a lot earlier. Crypto I got into 2017 for both Bitcoin, Doge, and Ethereum. Those were all mined for the most part. Like I've said before, I think I mined it and I tried trading it on Bitcoin side of things here. Had I not done that, I probably would have had more Bitcoin than I do now as it is, as a result of that. So that was a lesson learned there. I am terrible at trying to time Bitcoin ups and downs. So I just decided to I think it was 2018, I decided I'm not doing anything with Bitcoin. I'm just going to hold on to it and see where things go at this point. And this one has done very, very well for me. It's up 1,889%. And it does represent 20.63% of my overall portfolio there in the allocation. Next one, Doge. Doge was a kind of a funky one. Doge, we were mining that along with Litecoin. If you were mining Litecoin on the L3s and whatever they have now, those use the same algorithm, I believe, and you were able to mine both of them at the same time. So everything from Doge came from mining it. And I just held on to it. At one point that was valued at like 30-some thousand, I think. This was going back into 2021, I think. Yeah, 2021 when it peaked at like 72 cents, 73 cents a coin. Should have sold it at that point, but I was thinking it was going to go up higher, so I just held on to it. It's still right now the best performer that I have. It's up 4,460% overall from where I got into it here. So amazed by that. That was just sheer luck. I'm going to count it to sheer luck on that one, just for having the machines that were actually mining it, because for a long time I wasn't even interested in it. But you saw those coins popping into your wallet there on the mining pool. It's like, okay, well, we got something there. But it turned out to be a lot more than what I expected there. So that was actually pretty nice. Next one here, Hedera hash graph. Got interested in that one. I still own it. Obviously, if I had my chance, I'd probably end up selling this one along with like Sia coin. That was another one that was mined as well. But Hedera hash graph, I got interested into it, seeing how other companies are backing it a little bit. I think when I was looking into it, going back to 2019, I think it was 2019 or 2020, I can't remember now. But Microsoft was a partner there. I think Google was also a partner there or something like that. They were helping them out. So I thought there was some potential there. Obviously didn't play out that way. It did actually pretty good in 2021, but after that, it's been pretty bad. And then lastly here, we got Ethereum, which obviously represents now 0.63% of my overall portfolio. That one is also from mining Ethereum with GPUs. So probably would have had more of that, but I used that to pay off the machines, to build those machines, a lot of it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now on it as well. It's up 1,078%, so can't complain on that. But that was another one that I just got into it in 2017 here. And Ethereum has, I mean, it's kept up somewhat with Bitcoin from that time frame if you look at it overall. But it's still underperformed here, it seems like, in the last couple of years compared to Bitcoin itself. So I'm hoping that Ethereum can at least do a double from where it's at right now, if not a triple. And at that point, I'll probably end up selling it. Or maybe I'll just hold on to it, see where it goes in the next 10 years or something like that. Keep it as a retirement. Give it to my kids or something like that when I pass away or something. I don't know. Because it doesn't represent, obviously, a lot of my portfolio allocation. But that's basically it. Has it been a fun ride? It's been a fun ride. It's been stressful at times. It's been rough at times. Even scary at times, seeing your portfolio go down to being actually read at a number of times before seeing it go back up to new all-time highs. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, and I think most investors know that. Investors, I mean, there's, I guess, two types. There's investors that invest for a longer time frame, and there's also traders, right? Traders that trade stocks in and out quickly, relatively, and sometimes maybe not quickly, but a couple months maybe or something like that, a couple weeks. They might be in and out of a position. And unfortunately, I just don't have the patience for that or the aptitude, I guess, to do well in that kind of a trading situation, right? For me, it's much easier for me to just invest in things that I believe in, have conviction in, and have done a lot of research in those things, and those things have done pretty well overall. Now, when you look at the markets, how have the markets done? Have I at least outperformed those? Yeah, for the majority of these things, I have outperformed the markets. That is my only really benchmark, right? Can I outperform the markets overall and the things that I get into? And if I can do a multiple of what the markets have done, I'm a happy camper. Because otherwise, you could just put the money into markets and you'll be up, 10 to 20% roughly a year on those things. And that's still really, really good returns overall. But if you can beat that and compound that over time, things look much better at this point, right? So it was one of those opportunities where I was able to do it after many years prior to that, trying to get into stocks, but fumbling around with penny stocks, and then like what's the word there I'm looking for? It was pharmaceutical stocks that had stuff in development, but they weren't huge at that point. Tried doing that as well. That didn't work out. So finally was able to narrow things down and be very, very more focused on things that I actually understand, which was obviously crypto, Bitcoin, and this space in general. So like I said, really, really happy with the results. I think, but we can still do better than this. And we'll see where we are at the end of the year. Maybe we'll take a snapshot of this, see where we are right now, and then see where we ended up the year. Did we do a good job of holding on to it, or should we sold at maybe this point? Okay. All right, that's it. So that's the latest update on the portfolio. Let's get into Q&A here. So what you guys have to say, and I will make this available to obviously all the Patreon members there as it is. Okay. All right, let's get into Q&A, and then we'll call it a night here. We're going on almost half an hour. Perfect timing as well. And maybe we'll go watch a movie or something like that. I started watching Hoosiers. Gosh, what's the guy's name there? Haven't seen that movie in a very, very long time. It's actually really good. It's about the Indiana coach that coaches a high school basketball team. Kind of cool. Some of those old movies are really, really good too. nonetheless, okay, I'm rambling on here. Let's get into Q&A here. All right, John Kurtz says investors will be shocked by the explosive overall bull market. Bitcoin will have a banner year, and miners will follow. Stay invested. I'm with you on that. You're preaching to the choir there. Carl says, Rob, I watched the McNally video and sent the link to several friends. Also invested in Bitfarms. Very well done. I have not seen that. I'll have to take a look at it. McNally and Anthony do a great job there going over the companies. They also have a lot of details. Definitely follow those if you guys don't follow them already. Neville Bitfarms is going to watch the episode tomorrow. Okay, I'll probably watch it tomorrow too. Neville, the Bears might get another round of ammunition with this snowstorm coming. SMH. You're talking about the south side of things. As long as power doesn't get disrupted for long periods of time, I think we'll be okay. But obviously, that's not a good thing for anybody. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they get any ammunition on that. All right. Mr. X here, let's go. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Cleanspark bag holder, Cleanspark 280 by end of year. I would love to see that. Right, I was talking about Cleanspark possibly getting to that a year ago, I think it was. But Bitcoin obviously didn't play out the way we thought, and then we also had more interest in the AI. But man, I'd love to see it get back up to 80 possibly, or go to 80. That hasn't been there that long. PJW says, thank you, Hut. Yeah, Hut 8 has done fantastically well. Rob says, the McNally Money video yesterday said in the area of Panther Creek, I believe if my memory serves me correct, are 8 hyperscalers in that area, huge potential for a contract. Yeah, there's quite a few. You got Amazon in there. I think Microsoft's in there. Who else is in there? I think there's quite a few over there in that area because it's a really highly populated area. And that's where kind of usually if they wanted to build out the data centers was next to high population areas. Let's see, Rob says, AI in some ways is exciting, but after watching some, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, Yuval Noah Harari speak at the Davos World Economic Forum about your son or daughter wanting to date an AI immigrant had me shaking my head. AI immigrant? I mean, yeah, there's some concerns with these chatbots that I wouldn't say even some younger, I think anybody might be susceptible to, I wouldn't say lured into it, but maybe taking advantage. I wouldn't say even taking advantage either. I'm not thinking of the right words. But it is easy to get hooked on it. That's what I'm trying to say, is get hooked on these AI chatbots because one, they usually don't criticize you, right? They usually praise you and things like that for the most part. And it's easy to get addicted to something like that. So there is some, I wouldn't say fear. There is some concern. And you got to obviously keep an eye on your kids so that they don't, well, they can use it for good things, but they can't be getting obsessed with it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. All right, Mr. X here. I would be very happy if Cleanspark can just hit above 30 and be able to maintain a strong support there. Each time it hits 23, it crashes. Yeah, it's done that at least, 2 or 3 times here in the past 2 years, I would say, something like that. Yeah. PGW, back in the 1970s, one of the major debates was, will the facsimile machine catch on or will I still be using telex next year? Oh gosh, I can't remember. I never used telex. I recall, obviously, the facsimile fax machines, basically, those coming in. I remember the first time our company got it when I worked there was back in like 1988, I think it was. Was the first time we got a fax machine, I think. Right, it's one of those things. There was a slow progression on that one, on that technology. And then it took a while longer to get the internet and things like that. Yeah. I mean, things are definitely moving much faster here now than they were 30 years ago. Rob says, you need to add some Hive to your portfolio, Seb. I had Hive. I sold it back, when did I sell it? End of 2024, end of 2023, I think I sold what I had. And I got into that one in 2017. And that one did pretty good. At one point, it was valued, what I got into it was around 70,000. Had I sold it at the peak there in 2021, I would have definitely done pretty good here. At the end, I think I was still up gosh, what was that? So I think I took in like 15 or something like that. So I was still up. Let's see. Hot KY Milky, good morning. BTC sideline with miners forming support. Great days ahead. Okay, that's going to be awesome. Cleanspark back holder. Given how cheap Mara is, would it be better to hold Mara over BTC? Good question on that one. And I don't know. We have a lot of concerns with Mara, their management, their high overpaid compensation, bonuses, all that stuff. Their focus seems to be lacking a little bit as well in what they want to do. Operations are hit and miss sometimes with them as well. Their valuation on their HODL is nowhere near where it probably should be. They do have a lot of debt that's going to be coming up due here in 2030, I believe in 2031. They need to fix some things, I think. If they fix the things that they need to fix and focus more on the things that are important, like Bitcoin mining and AI, data centers and things like that, if they can do that, then I think the stock will do better than Bitcoin. If they don't, if they continue to linger and have issues, then it might not. That's just my take on that one. Mr. X says, are you still against owning Mara? It's one of the most beaten down miners. Doesn't it have a bigger upside than the other miners? Well, that's kind of what I was talking about, right? Can they fix the issues that they have? Can they show investors and institutions that they can do much better going forward? I think one way to do that would be to start using the huge HODL position that you do have, is buying up data centers or something like that, and going to AI that way. I mean, they have, what, 50 some odd thousand Bitcoin. That's valued at, what, 5 billion or something like that? Use some of that to, that's at least what I would probably do. But yeah. Okay, talk about that one. See, Seb, you are doing better than most hedge fund managers. Luckily enough, yeah, it's working out pretty good here. I'm happy with the results here. Talked about this one here. Does it have bigger? Yeah, I talked about that one. Rob says, let's see. Did you say facsimile machines? LOL. I wonder when we are going to drop the cell phone because everyone doesn't want AI no more. Let's start the movement. LOL. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be some people that are not gonna want AI. I'm in favor of it. I think it will be a net, as long as it's a net positive for humanity. I think it's going to be a good thing, right? We don't want to be in Terminator land, or what were some of the other movies that were kind of bad on AI? There was another one there. I can't remember it. But as long as it's net positive for humanity, I think it's going to be a good thing. It does help out. I think it's going to be good for also like medicine, healthcare, possibly maybe even law, science things as well. So I think those are all going to be good things there. PJM says, Mara worries me, especially after that letter to the shareholders. If you want to gamble giver, I believe I'd rather buy more Hive shares. Okay. NGH says, hey there, Seb. It's been a while since I've been here. Okay. Well, great to have you back. NGH asks, how is Bitfarms doing? What shall we be expecting for the next move? I mean, right now, the next move is to build out the data center in Washington. If they can do that quicker than anticipated, I think it's going to be a good move. And if they can get a deal for that site, that's going to be a really good move. So that's kind of the things I'm watching there for them. Have you watched their conference video on X? I have not, no. And also, yes, there is McNally Money videos is making on them. Yeah, definitely take a look at that. I'll take a look at that tomorrow as well. Mr. X, what is your Bitcoin price prediction for this year? I'm thinking somewhere between 150 and 180,000. If we get to those levels, I'll be happy. SK, do you think IREN will go to 80 from here or correct? It'll go up, it'll correct, and then it'll go back up and it'll get to 80, and it'll eventually, I think, go above that as well, right? If they come out with a deal for their Clearwater site, we're going above 80 quickly, I think, at that point, depending on the deal. But yeah, I think they will go above 80 again. Bevneat, target for IREN site for Bitfarms end of year. Let's be conservative. Okay, so IREN, I would say $80 to $100 by the end of the year, if all things go well. Cypher, we're looking probably between $25 and $35 for them. Bitfarms, I'd like to see them between $8 and $12, somewhere around there. SK, why is Cypher not Bitfarms not moving much? Why is Cypher not Bitfarms? Cypher has more megawatts available to them. And they already got deals. I think that's the reason why. Bitfarms is still in the kind of work in progress on that. So if they provide us with a deal from somebody, that's going to be a huge shot to them as well. Adam, Seb, we should have bought more IREN at 35 for the long-term hold when blood in the streets. Yeah, if I had cash or something like that, I probably would have gone into it. I was hoping it would go down to like 30. I would buy in at that point and maybe put a pause on the remodel here in the basement. But a lot of the cash that I have extra now, right now, is going into that because I've already spent probably over 14,000 on that. Like, you know, for the remodel of the basement, I want to get it done. I want to have the basement done. Right. That's kind of where I'm at right now. All right, SK, question. Applied beat earnings and stock went down. Do you see same for IREN on the 5th of February? We know that the revenues for Bitcoin are going to be down because Bitcoin price obviously came down. Network hash rate kind of went up, but kind of went down. But we know that's going to be down. The big question is, can they still squeak out a positive EPS on that? I think they might, plus they're generating more revenue from their own GPU mining, AI mining, from their own AI GPUs that they're hosting for customers and things like that. So I think that will offset some of it, but it'll also greatly depend on what is the catalyst going forward for them, what is the future path for them, where are they at right now with their own GPUs for AI, what are we hearing as far as communications with hyperscalers for their sites. All of those things I think will help also there. All right, Mr. X, does gold and silver hitting all-time highs worry you at all, Seb? Not really. And the only reason I say not really because gold hasn't really done dilly for the past 10 years or so, right? It's been kind of flat. So if it's having a rally here, I think the reason it's going up is because of the contention between the United States and some of the countries around the world. That is why those countries are buying up gold. I think that's the main reason for it there. So I think that will subside eventually, I think, over time. I'm not sure exactly when. And I think we might see a little bit of a rotation here. We might even see a pullback in like gold and silver as well because those things have gone up crazy. So I'm not too worried yet. All right, SK, apart from IREN Cypher, Cleanspark, Bitfarms, which one stock would you buy? The one that's kind of tempting is right now is BitDeer. BitDeer's pretty tempting. That one's kind of like questionable for me. As you guys know, there's been some possible ties, alleged ties with China. I'm not sure what ties those are, but that's the only reason that would probably hold me back. If it wasn't for that, I would be probably more into it. But yeah, I think that one's very, very interesting there. Because that's got a lot of growth with megawatts and data centers that they're trying to do. And they're kind of going the route of IREN as well with getting GPU clusters as well. So that one's interesting. That one's one I would watch also. Okay. US Mara supports spam. They are the spam on the blockchain there with the direct, what do they call it? They have a direct, there's a name for it that they're calling it. I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but yes, I mean, not a big fan of that. Okay, they can do it. They can charge a little more for it. Okay, for the blocks there. US says Nancy Pelosi beats your returns. I know. That's what happens when you're insider, right? You get all the details in front of, before everybody else. But still not bad. I'll take my gains anytime. PGW Red just became a member. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. US says I copy trade Nancy Pelosi. Well, then you're doing probably better than me. Well, congratulations. I mean, that's one way to play, but how much longer is she going to be in there? So you might as well run it while you can. All right. Rob says Elon Musk was at Davos World Economic Forum, and he said that by the end of 2026, AI will be smarter than human being, and 5 years going forward, AI will be smarter than all of society collectively. I can see that happening. I mean, I can honestly see that being a possibility there. Bevneet asks, isn't Cypher too low, 25 to 35? I would say 35 minimum end of year. Well, you asked me to be conservative, so that was kind of conservative on my end here, right? If they get a deal or something like that, we could go much higher. But I think conservatively, without getting any deals or something like that, I think they should be somewhere around there. Okay. Robert, in addition to Elon Musk said there will be more robots than human beings living in society. I heard that as well. That's going to be kind of interesting there. Maybe in time, everybody will have their own little robot working for them, and they're going to be able to pursue the things that they're interested in, whether it's woodworking, whether it's playing in the stock market, whether it's, whatever it might be, whatever is your joy in life, you might be able to do that more than you can now. I think people overall still need something to pursue that has a challenge to them, that gives them some kind of an internal respect for themselves, but also a sense of accomplishment, right? If you have people that are just, it makes me think of the movie, what was that movie name? It was actually a 3D animation by Pixar. Wall-E, right? If you remember Wall-E, they had the robots there. People were on the big starship up in outer space because they've trashed Earth. And you saw all of them riding around in these floating chairs. Everybody was fat, right? Nobody had anything to do. I don't want civilization to get to that point. I think that would be a very, very bad thing for civilization. So we need something to strive for as humans, to make something, to have challenges, to overcome those challenges, and have accomplishments in life as well. So that's kind of what we really need. And if you get, high basic income like some of them are talking about, well, that kind of alleviates, or I think it minimizes the pursuit of humans, I think, if you have it all over the place. But we'll see. Okay, I talked about that one already. Let's see. US says Warren Buffett never bought gold. Okay. And Rob says, in addition, you said that there is also concern that AI robots starting up their own businesses, etc. That's interesting, right? Could robots start their own mining business or something like that for rare earth minerals or things? Well, they could. Or you could have somebody, there's been, not really theories, but there's been some people talking about that there could be a single entity business that's run by a single person that becomes, worth $1 trillion. Because if you have robots and you have AI and all that stuff, you could have, somebody that's worth $1 trillion just by themselves without having any employees or anything like that, other than AI agents and AI robots, which is kind of fascinating to that point as well. Who knows? Time will tell, right? It's going to be an interesting next 10 to 20 years for sure. I thought the past 10, 20 years have been fascinating and very interesting with the technology that we've had advances. But man, that's going to seem like nothing in the next 10 to 20 years, I think. Which is a great time to be alive, because I've seen a lot of things throughout my years, being now 48 years old. I've seen the VHS come to play. Before that, we had the, what was it called before that? There was another, but we had VHS come out, then we had the Laserdisc come out, then DVDs, then CDs, right? All of that stuff. The internet, the early dial-ups with bulletin boards, then the internet actually itself. You had Lycos, if you recall that search engine. Alta Vista was another one, I think, in there. I'm going way back, but... And then the cell phones themselves. The first cell phone my family had, it was a car phone. It was actually like a briefcase, small briefcase. You had the phone in there, the parts that you had connected to your cigarette lighter in the car. You had antenna on it. It was, man, where we started out to where we are right now, it is just amazing. I tell my kids every once in a while some of these stories, and they're like, what? What do you mean you had to dial up to get internet? If somebody picked up the line, you were, basically SOL at that point. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next 20 years. It should be fun. All right. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's see what that one. Let me see. Okay, that one. All right. US says, Cypher current losses. The company is still reporting net losses. I believe so. They never got to scale with Bitcoin mining. That's the big part there. IREN got to scale with 50 exahash this past year. Cleanspark got pretty close to it. I think Cleanspark probably needed to get to like 60 exahash. They had a little higher cost on mining from electricity side of things, but they got really close to it as well. But yeah, and then there's obviously Cypher's building out data centers right now for their customers. That's going to take a little time for them to start generating revenue on that side of things. All right. John says Cleanspark has unusual options for March 20th, 17th, 20th, $17 and $25 strike still open. That I'm not sure of. I know that they had something there that they could possibly, from their earlier warrants, I think. Okay, Rob, question. Will AI replace a company's salesman? I mean, are they going to take clients out for a round of golf too, or are AI robots going to take out AI client? Oh, yeah. I mean, geez, I don't know. It'll be, God, it'll be fascinating to watch that play out. Because the company that I work for, we have salespeople as well, and they take them out. They take our clients out, our customers out to lunches and sporting events. Imagine this: what if in like 5 years we have electronic teams, sports teams, where you have robots playing basketball and football and all that, and they can actually rip each other's heads off and things like that. That might be kind of fun on that side of things, but it's going to be a while before that happens, I think. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. U.S. Cipher valuation metrics. Some scores like Zacks, F for value, growth momentum suggested might underperform the market in the near term. I don't take too much value from what Zacks has to say or like the Motley Fool or any of those things there. You got to watch what the trend is. And I think the trend is still AI right now for the next probably couple of years. So I think that will outperform regardless. All right, Mr. X, when will you start converting your highly volatile stocks into low volatile, more stable stocks like SPY? Each time I hit an all-time high, I'm thinking I should diversify into safer stocks to minimize risk. Yeah, I think I've been thinking about that as well. I'm going to probably do that, hopefully. If we go to the values of some of these companies where I think we might go this year, I might start doing that this year. Slowly dollar cost average in and out of them. The big one that I want to also protect is the one that DGHI, which I have in my retirement account. That one has gone up, I mean, hugely for me since I got into it in beginning of 2023. So that one I really want to protect because that is now over 7 figures. So I do need to protect that one. And I think as that one goes up higher, I'll probably start trimming that out and going into something a little bit more safe, right? Not as volatile as this thing has been. But then I think I'll probably still use a large chunk of it, maybe not over 50%, but maybe 20% of it to do these kind of high risk kind of plays a little bit to make the money even grow faster, right? I still have a number of years that I gotta work, so if I lose a little bit there, I can probably make it up, whether it's through the SPY going up or others going up as well in time over 10 years, 20 years, going up 10% a year roughly. I can probably make that up. So that's at least the plan right now. All right. NGS, what is the next sector up and coming play do you think will be worth investing slowly in after AI? Well, I think it's part of AI as well. So I think pharmaceutical companies that are getting into AI and using AI to, do formulations, I think that's going to be huge there because I think there's going to be a lot of advances happening there as well in the next, I would say, 5 to 10 years. Energy, obviously, I think energy is definitely going to have to play into that, whether it's regular energy companies or whether it's the builders of nuclear power plants, builders of natural gas turbines. All those guys, I think, are going to be in huge demand there. Solar, even, I would say. Beyond that, robotics is the next one. And then following that, I would say space exploration. I think that's going to be also a crazy moneymaker there as well. Okay. US says, my money is on Somalia daycare centers. I'd be actually shorting those right now because those things are getting wiped out. So be careful with that one. Carl said, all you have to do is look at the project housing in the US to see where human civilization could go without a sense of accomplishment and goals to strive for. It's our nature to need that. I agree with you there. Yeah, if you look at, project housing, I know what you're talking about. There used to be like a Cabrini Green in Chicago where I lived not too far from that. Well, I lived far enough not to have to worry about it. But yeah, I mean, it is, it's heartbreaking to what you see happening there, unfortunately. But yeah, we definitely need a drive. We need a sense of accomplishment. We need to pursue greater challenges as well. All right. PJW says, I'm going long in physical robots. I need around 5 of them. That would do nicely. So Tesla obviously getting the robots. You got, I don't know, who's got Boston Dynamics now? I know they were bought by Google at one point, then Google sold them off to somebody else. I'm not even sure who owns them right now. Boston Dynamics, but you got also some Chinese companies getting into that as well. So yeah, that's one to also keep an eye on there. Mr. X, I'm concerned about miners with large BTC holding positions since they may have to state a large unrealized loss for their next quarter earnings. What's your take? Yeah, I agree with you there. So Riot, Cleanspark, Marathon, right? Those guys have a large position there. American Bitcoin as well. Who else? Hut 8. They're going to get dinged on it. But I think, people already know that they're going to get dinged on. Yeah. So those might take a beating there a little bit. All right. US says Zach has a proven track record. Depending which things you get into, I guess. I mean, I could see that, yeah. But I've had bad luck with Zach's and their recommendations in the past. Or at least not me. My dad has. My dad was in it, and he wasn't too happy with it. US says a lot of money in child daycare. You're going to have to come up with another scam for that one, that's for sure. Vic says, Yusuf just makes ad daycare attendance needed must have had head shaped like a light bulb. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that trend is going out the window. Don't get into daycares or anything for Somali children or any kind of children. If you're scamming the government there, I think they're going to be coming after you. And that's one of the things. I'm not going to get political with you guys, but here the government needs to do a much better job of seeing where the money's going, as it being used properly as well. Whether it's having private investigators check on this stuff up or whatever it's going to have to be, you gotta know where the money's going. And whoever signs or whoever has the bills signed there, and there's fraud in there, large fraud, should be probably kicked out of their position. That's just my take, right? Yusuf says, my money is on Quality Leering Center. Yeah, I think my money wouldn't be on them. A lot of that stuff is going to be going away, I think, which is good. But, man, still a lot of waste of money there. All right, we'll call it a day. Cut up to all your guys' questions. We're going on almost 2 hours as it is. Wish you guys a wonderful weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you've weathered the cold here today, and I think we're going to have a little bit more tomorrow. But we'll see where things go over the weekend with Bitcoin and everything else, and we'll get back in the swing of things on Sunday. We'll talk about how the miners did against Bitcoin and anything else that we want to cover at that point. But greatly appreciate all of you coming in on this lovely Friday night. Spend the time with your family as always. Enjoy it, and I will see you all on Friday. Love you all. Until then, not Friday, Sunday, sorry. I'll see you guys all on Friday. Love ya. Until then, bye.